Okay, this would be take two. The camera told me that I needed to try again because the resolution was too high or too low, blah blah blah. Oh, never mind the dust and dirt on the outside. The inside is clean, and oh yes, we have the ribeye standing on the bone. It's still fiery on one end, but most of it's coal. And the heat is between low and high. Hopefully it'll do its thing. If it doesn't get completely done, I'd say within an hour, I'll slice between the bone and turn it into two monster-sized steaks. And feed myself one and my buddy that owns the place that lives in his, let's see, that would be a single wide 80-footer up there. Him and his better half will get half of it, and unless I chop more off for me. I was intending on making another dose of prime rib stroganoff. I've got mushrooms, onions, might be a stir fry because I've got ginger and garlic and other goodies. Let me see. There was a stack. Now it's all stacked up here and there willy-nilly of rough cut 1x fir. Unfortunately, it was stacked where it got wet, and some of it had termites and other critters in it. So that as soon as I could get to it and realize it was there, actually, when I started moving over 2x6s over here, I found that my buddy tipped over his wood with the forks of his forks on his tractor, and just made a big mess of things. So I stacked it up straight up and down, where if any bugs tried to go down and get moisture out of the ground, they would become prey, yes, prey, to the chickens. And the chickens would munch that, and termites would become eggs. So that's the name of that tune. I will take those boards and cut them into strips and put them between boards on the old barn here. You could probably see there's little gaps between the boards here, and I'll make little strips. Well, there you can see really well, great big gaps, and I'll fill that in with battens made from all of those boards. And now it's just coming to mind that I was talking about in the last video, the pony cart. The pony cart sat for 10 years without anything being done to it. I can see it being painted maroon with some gold trim. It has bicycle type springs underneath the seat. The seat is rotten. You push on the wood and it cracks. But anyway, I can see it being turned into a really cool piece. If not used with a horse to pull it, I can see making a little power unit in the front that just has a tiller type steering arrangement, one wheel in the front, two in the back, just to putt around down dirt roads. I've got a 5-horse Briggs & Stratton cast iron engine that I might be able to do that with. Well, might be able to do that with. All I have to do is do it. Among a zillion other things, underneath the blue tarp there, I've got some machinery, and I've got some large pieces of iron. I could put a large iron flywheel on the output shaft of the 5-horse engine to increase the impulse energy or potential energy or kinetic energy, and turn that little pony cart into a gasoline powered runabout down down the dirt roads and gravel roads, just to turn heads and kind of stick my thumb in the nose to society and say, look, I don't need to be held hostage to a vehicle for insurance. This is barely a few horsepower, so hand signal should work. Anyway, that's enough of that. In the meanwhile, while nobody was looking, the temperature has dropped on the barbecue, which is not a good thing, which means I need to zoom again. I need to take wood from one side and push it to the other side and continue with the preparation of this lovely hunk of ribeye. I can see it tomorrow or the next day becoming stroganoff. I've got sour cream, like I mentioned, mushrooms, onions, garlic, and I'm thinking about that ginger too. Look at all that ginger. Jeez. There must be 3 pounds of ginger. Glad I didn't have to buy it. It just turned out in the pile of vegetation for the chickens, and the chickens are just having a ball. Quite a bit of it was corn, and my buddy ran over it with the brush hog on his tractor and pulverized everything to turn it into chicken chow. It's kind of funny because I wanted to go through it and see what would be really good for human consumption. Man, there were so many watermelons. There was jicama, all kinds of stuff. It still looks like there's bell peppers, red, right there in the middle of the screen, ruby red grapefruit.